What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Busy Dad here. You there checking out this Force of Will face-off. It's good to get finally a match online. I am on the left. I am playing the Mount St. Sylvia red-green rush deck. Mike is on the right with his revised Kaguya deck with the green, white, and moon. Mike won the dice roll, and he is going to go first, which is pretty smart because he knows my Sylvia deck, and he does not want to let me go first and potentially just start blasting him right out of the gate. So here we go on the deal. 5 each, and we're getting ready for our mulligans. This ended up being a really good matchup. A couple of good moves throughout the game, and Mike's Kaguya deck has really been revised since last time. He definitely likes tinkering with it. I'm going to put back 3 here, I believe, and I think Mike is going to ship back 2. So, getting ready to kick things off. Mike is going to play an Apollo right off the bat. Good for him. He's going to call a stone, green stone, and he uses it to play the Moonbreeze Elf. So, already ramping up the will on the board right out of the gate and passes to me. So draw, call in the Blasting Waves, red-green dual stone. There's a Levitine, great to see right off the bat. And 1 for the Flame Sprite, flying in swiftness, 200. We're going to start the rush right away. So pass the turn, Mike getting ready to draw. And he will recover, call a stone, gets the Moonbreeze Memoria, I think that is, the white or moon stone. Thinking about what to do. For Kaguya, moon can be played as green, which really gives him options. So that Moonbreeze Elf on the board can make a moon, which he can use as green. And also that Moonbreeze Memoria can make white or moon, and the moon could be used as green. So he uses the elf moon as green to call in another elf. And he's going to use white and Apollo. So for the Lunar Ibis, he's going to use white for the Lunar Ibis and Apollo to create the moon for Awakening. Apollo's moon can pay for Awakening cost. He recovers Arrested Resonator, and the Ibis gets a +2/+2 counter. So it's now a 5/5 flyer. Passes the turn to me. I'm going to draw, recover, call a stone, and it is a red stone. Now for Sylvia, red makes green. So I have 2 stones on the board that make green. And I'm going to swing at him for 200 flying. He has a 500 Lunar Ibis that could block. He's seeing what he wants to do, if he wants to take the damage or let the Ibis block. He decides to take the damage, and I'm going to hit the Rapid Growth for +4/+4, and then play it right out of the graveyard with its Remnant for another +4/+4. So the Flame Sprite does 1,000 damage flying. That is nasty. And I pass the turn. So 2 turns in, and Mike is down to 28. But he is pretty calm here. He knows he has a board presence, and he knows he's ramping up the will. He knows he just has to get some good cards and hurry up, because if he keeps letting me do that, that 28 is going to be gone pretty quick. So here we see 1 white for the Crescent Moon Magician, and he pays for an Awakening. The Awakening will deal 600 damage to target Resonator, and if the damage goes through, he gets to put counters on the Magician. So he's going to target my Flame Sprite. I ask him if he wants to target his elf. He doesn't want to. I wonder why. But I got something on my tricks. I'm going to pump Sylvia up 2/2 with Levitine, and then banish the Flame Sprite to recover Levitine. She's banished, and the damage does not get through to her, so his Crescent Moon Magician does not get any counters. So, little fun thing for him. And he decides to swing at me with the Ibis 500 flying, and the Moonbreeze Elf gets in on the action for 100 as well. So, kind of a good move by me to make sure he doesn't get his counters, but I lost my Flame Sprite, which kind of stinks. Now I have an empty board. So, I'm going to draw and recover, call a stone. Sitting with 3 right now. I'm going to use 2 for the Volcano, which Mike does not like to see, so there'll be no more life gaining, and every time a Resonator hits the graveyard, we each lose 100. Use my last stone to play a Rook Egg, and pass the turn. So Mike will draw and recover. Excuse me. And you can see he's got a nice presence on the board. But I don't feel too uncomfortable. I see him making moves. He's going to J-activate with Kaguya now. She is a 7/9, but he does this because Kaguya can use Moon to cancel automatic abilities, which is great. Enter abilities can be canceled. He swings at me for 500 flying with the Ibis. I have to take it. And he's going to use the Elf's Moon as green to call in another Elf and pass the turn. So really good job by Mike to get Kaguya over and build the board up even more. It's going to come to me. I will draw. And I'm thinking about popping my own Rook Egg with Levitine to get a Fire Resonator. Thinking about whether I want to do that or not. I decide not to. I'm going to recover everything and call in another stone. So now we have 4. Knowing that Mike can cancel automatic abilities is a damper. Here's 2 for Volga. And I'm sure Mike does not want to see him because now he has to worry about making sure he doesn't take any damage. 2 more for Sylvia's clanmate, and I'm going to pass the turn. So I wanted to put a little bit of a presence on my board to stop anything that he might be charging with. The clanmate does fly, so I do have a flying blocker. He recovers and puts out another Apollo, so to create more moons, to bounce resonators back to his hand, and Kaguya flies with it, so it makes it dangerous. He's going to swing at me with the Lunar Ibis. I have to decide if I want to block with the clanmate. I decide not to, and before you know it, now I'm down to 24. So definitely a chess match here as to what damage to get through and when to attack, when to hold back. Mike knows how my deck is built, and he knows what I'd like to do. So he's trying to put me in a position to either choose something else or just cancel it so I can't do anything. So I draw, and again, I'm debating whether I want to pop the Rook Egg. So I'm going to pump up Sylvia, and I'm going to banish the Rook Egg to recover. He decides to use one of his moons to cancel the Rook Egg's automatic ability of searching for a Fire Resonator. So that was kind of a downer. And to boot, we each lose 100 because Resonator went to the graveyard. And now I'm thinking about J-activating here. Because if I J-activate, Sylvia right now is dealing 1,200 because of the Levitine pump, and I can always pump it up again. If I judge, I would love to hit Volga, but I decide not to because I know he has moons up and he can just cancel that. So I'm going to call in a 5th stone. Regardless of whether he has the moons, I'm going to have to deal with this eventually. So I grab 1 stone, and I'm thinking about playing. I think I have another Rook Egg to play, but I decide not to. I see that his Lunar Ibis is rested, and his only other flyer is Kaguya. So I'm going to, here I am, I'm just making sure that we only got 2 flyers here. The Moonbreeze Elf don't fly. Apollo makes Kaguya fly. So I'm going to try to bait Kaguya here, and first of all, I'm staring at my cards, and eventually I'm going to swing at him with Sylvia's clanmate for 400. I'm going to swing at him directly. And really what I'd like him to do is I'd like him to block with Kaguya if possible. And maybe we got to trick up our sleeves for him. Taking a look at his board, I'm looking at his moon, seeing what else he can cancel, if anything. But if I can get rid of Kaguya, then I'm pretty much got the rest of the game in the bag. So really the mission now is to try to get Kaguya out of commission. So here it is. Here's the swing for 400 to him. And I'm hoping that he takes the bait, takes the bait and blocks with Kaguya. He decides not to. He decides to let the damage go through, so I'm going to, once again, double Rapid Growth. Once from my hand, and then once out of the graveyard with Remnant. He let both resolve, and he's going to take 1,200 from that attack. Puts him down to 15. You can see how Rapid Growth just makes these flyers really nasty when the damage gets through and can't be stopped. So I'm going to play one more for that rook egg after all. And what I end up doing here is I decided to pass the turn with 2 open stones. Now, it's kind of a chess match mentality because Mike knows how my deck is built and he knows I run bombardment in here. So I kind of wanted to show a potential bombardment presence by keeping the 2 stones open. Excuse me, guys. So Mike draws. He has not been calling stones, and I think it's because he wants to keep Kaguya recovered, because if she's rested, maybe she's in a situation where she can be attacked or just put out of commission. He doesn't know what I have in my hand. He kind of has an idea of my cards, but he doesn't know what he's up against. The Lunar Ibis, everything is recovered. He's trying to figure out what he wants to do. Those 3 Moonbreeze Elves are a problem because they make moon, but he can use them as green as well. So considering he only has 3 stones on the board, those Moonbreeze Elves essentially give him 6 stones. So he's in a much more comfortable position than you might think. He'll use 1 green, moon as green, and an Apollo moon for Wolf in the Moonlight with Awakening. So it's going to go through, and it's going to become an 8/8 with target attack. And when an Awakening is paid and it resolves, then Kaguya gets a counter 2. So now she goes up to 9/11. Still waiting to see if he's going to attack, and he does not. So I think that he's thinking that I'm preparing to J-activate. So I'm going to pump Sylvia up before recovery. So she's going to deal 1,200 damage. I'm going to recover her, and he is sensing a J-activation. So he's going to use his God's Art ability for 5 will. And Kaguya's God Art will make me rest all of my resonators, and he gets to recover all of his magic stones. The Moonbreeze Elves and the Apollos are not stones, so he basically gets to recover just the magic stones. Everyone else has to stay rested. So I'm looking at 3 rested resonators right now, which kind of stinks, but I'm going to pump Sylvia up 200 more with Levitine. She'll be dealing 1,400 damage, and I'm going to banish the Rook Egg to recover. And he lets this go. He does not cancel the automatic ability. Again, he's thinking that I'm about to J-activate. So it lets me go get a Fire Resonator out of my deck. And I grab Priscia, Pursuant of Exploding Flame. I want to get it in his head that I'm bringing out somebody that when she hits the graveyard, he's going to take 500 damage and then 100 from the volcano. So just to kind of show him that Lost Life is en route. It's on the way. Now I'm thinking of pumping Sylvia up again to 1,600. And I think we're going to catch the fact that Rook Egg hit the graveyard, so we both need to lose 100 life here. We're pretty good about that. It's really just some math going on right now, but we are going to realize it. But I did start to use Levitine to pump Sylvia up again, and I decided not to. I'm figuring out some math here. And here's Rook Egg. Here's me pointing to Rook Egg hitting the graveyard, so we're each going to lose 1. I'm now going to banish Sylvia's clanmate, which makes J-activating 1 less. So now my J-activate will be 1 red, 1 green, and 1 because of Sylvia's clanmate. I'm going to banish Levitine from my hand, which produces a red. So that means I just need green and 1 other to J-activate. So it only costs 2 stones to J-activate, which I do. And Mike is ready for that, and he's going to use his Moonstone to cancel Sylvia's Enter ability. And this is just a crucial point of the game because Sylvia is dealing 1,400 damage. And I could have targeted Volga with that 1,400, and that means Mike would have had to have taken 1,400 damage, and he would have been dead. That would have been game over. So game-saving move by Mike to cancel it. So now I'm sitting here. I still have 3 stones. And I still have Sylvia with Flying and Swiftness. So I'm going to swing at him for 1,400. So he's going to have to block with either Kaguya or the Ibis. Of course, he's going to block with the Ibis. It's too bad the Ibis wasn't rested here, because then he would have forced him to block with Kaguya. But Ibis gets killed, and when Sylvia deals damage that destroys a J Resonator, you get to recover 3 stones. So I recover all of my stones, and the Lunar Ibis hits the graveyard. We're going to lose 1,000. I'm sorry, we're going to lose 100 life here. Again, we're going to catch it. It's just a matter of realizing it and hitting it out of our graveyard. And here we go. We're finding it right now. So down 20 to 12. And I know that not being able to hit Volga is really just put me in a little bit of a bind. I could have ended the game right there, but Mike had the answer. So I'm going to pay 3 for Prisya, and Sylvia is on her J Ruler side, so red no longer makes green. So I have to do it right. 1 red, 1 green, and 1 other to bring out Prisya. Now she has flying and swiftness. I'm going to spend 1 green for high speed dash. This is going to let Sylvia come back to my ruler area as a ruler. So this helps her escape from trouble. But in reality, this lets her J-activate again on the next turn and potentially deal all that damage again, which Mike is aware of. Red now makes green for me because I'm back on Sylvia's ruler side. And even though Prisya has swiftness and target attack and first strike, I decide not to use her. I want to leave her up because if red makes green, again, I can use that red to give her flying and potentially block a Kaguya attack or block anything else that might be flying this turn. And if Prisya hits that graveyard, he's going to take damage from it as well. And I think Mike's a little comfortable seeing that it's only 1 stone up and not 2. Again, he knows a good amount of the cards I run in this deck, so seeing only 1 stone might give him a little bit of freedom to make some moves here. And again, Mike does not call stones when he flipped over Kaguya, especially with the 3 Moon Breeze Elves. He really doesn't have to. It really puts him in a comfortable situation. So he's debating what his next move is going to be, and I'm sitting here just saying if I can hold out this turn, I could probably get enough for the game on the next turn. Especially since Volga would be recovered and he already used his God's Art. So here he goes. He's going to use 2 Moon as green to play Beast Queen's counterattack. This is going to let one of his Resonators and one of my Resonators deal damage equal to the attack to each other. And I also think there's a pump. So he's going to have his Wolf and my Prisya deal damage to each other. It will end up killing my Prisya. And Prisya will go to the graveyard. He will take 500 damage, and we each take 100 damage. Now, I'm surprised he didn't use one of his moons to cancel that, but he did take it. So he's down to 600, and now he pretty much has free reign. He's going to swing at me with Kaguya. For the 9, he's going to swing at me with the Wolf for the 8, and then the Crescent Moon Magician will end the game. So that is it. A really good match, and it's just a really close match. And here I am seeing, just 1 more stone, and knowing that he had Bombardment, knowing that he had 6, Bombardment is 600, and I'm saying even if I put Volga in the graveyard, that would have only done 100. It wouldn't have been enough. But really, just a really good match, a really fun match, and really the whole turning point, the whole just crucial part of the match was him having the moon to cancel Sylvia's enter effect. I would have blasted Volga with the 1400, and that just would have been it. Would have been nice to have a Bombardment in my hand, but it just didn't happen. And, sometimes in this game you get the cards and sometimes you don't. But it was a really good game, and I'm glad we filmed it. So I wanted to put this up on the channel to show off the matchup. So, guys, that is it. Hope you liked it. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment below, and we're going to have more face-offs and more videos as we go along. So congrats to Mike. He wins this round. I'll be out for Justice next time. But until then, thank you for a few minutes, and I'll talk to you.